Music on the Camino. Everybody loves music. This is going to be a fun topic. Are you ready? Everyone knows how to listen, right? There can't be a right or a wrong way, can there? While there's no correct or incorrect way to listen to a piece of music, the way you listen can be classified in two ways: active and passive. Active listening to music involves directing our full attention to the piece of music. This includes focusing on everything from the instruments that are being used to the lyrics and the message of the song. The rhythm, the tempo, the dynamics, and the phrasing or the structure of the composition are all perceived and included in our listening experience. Passive listening is when the music is in the background. You know it's there, but you aren't really paying attention to it. Passive listening is consuming music on a surface level with very little, if any, actual engagement in the activity. We are subconsciously processing the background audio sounds, but are not deliberately focused on them. On the Camino, examples of this type of listening would be listening to music on our phone while walking, enjoying a cognac at a tapas bar and hearing either live music or music over the sound system. These are all wonderful musical experiences, but my favorite is the live folk music played on traditional instruments. So where do you find these places? How do you know where the live music will be in the towns where you'll be walking through? Most of the time, it's just good luck. But there are ways to increase your lucky chance of finding these places with just a little research, some common sense, and fancy finger work on your phone. Regardless of what type of music you're listening to or what venue, as with everything in life, there are rules. If you're going to a formal symphony concert or opera, the etiquette in Spain is the same as it is here in North America. If you arrive late, you won't be seated until intermission. Of course, turn off your phone and no pictures. If the program is a symphony, remember there are 4 movements in a symphony, and you hold your applause until the end of the 4th movement. If it's a concerto, there are 3 movements, and again, you hold your applause until the end of the 3rd movement. Keep your eyes open to what people around you are doing and take your cue from them. If the venue is a flamenco show, things are a bit more relaxed. You're often seated at tables and offered drinks and tapas. If the musicians on stage begin clapping, don't clap along with them. This is part of their music. The clapping is a percussion instrument. If you clapped along with them, it would be like singing along with the soprano aria in an opera. You just wouldn't do it. Again, just look around and take your cues from people who look like they know what they're doing. Information and tickets for these venues can be found at the local tourist information office. Also, you probably can Google it and find ticket sources online. Another great source for live music on the Camino are the bars in the villages where you're staying. Just pop into the local TI or any shop or cafe near the center of town and ask. The locals will always know where the best music will be. Also, during the evening paseo, that walk around town that happens every night before the late dinner hour, you'll typically find street musicians who are often very good. The sources for live music are endless. Just don't be afraid to explore all the various venues and have fun. The last music adventure I'd like to talk about in this video are the music instruction vacations. Yeah, educational vacations have become quite popular around the world, and Spain is right up there with the best of them. They offer a plethora of venues, everything from learning how to play the Galician bagpipe to Galician folk music festivals in Vigo. If something like this interests you, here's a couple of suggestions. How about a walking vacation on the Camino, learning how to write a song? Singer and songwriter Christina Jacobson offers a place-based songwriting experience on the Camino Frances. Participants will walk the Camino during the day, walking through vineyards and mountain towns and sleeping in small albergues, and then writing songs on farms and in alpine villages and in the wine country. She offers daily guided mindfulness meditation and songwriting prompts with mentoring each day. The adventure begins in Leon and concludes at Casa Susie and Trabadello. Yep, this is the famous Susie and Fermin of Casa Susie. I did a video on their wonderful albergue a while back. So here's the information and how to find out more about this outstanding songwriting experience. Here's another suggestion. My dear friend, fellow musician, songwriter, performer from Down Under, Dan Mullins, will be doing a Walk with Dan singing across Spain. You'll probably know Dan from his Camino song, Somewhere Along the Way. As a fundraising event to finance a new album, Dan is inviting pilgrims on a 3-week tour on the Camino, performing gigs along the way. Their contributions will pay for the album and offer them front row seats at every performance on this musical Camino. The tour starts in Leon and finishes in Santiago de Compostela. 3 weeks of fun, friends, and stories that you will remember from the rest of your life. Here's the information about Dan's project.
Opening heart and a soul as old as slave. Somewhere along the way, somewhere along the way, I hope you find what you're looking for. Somewhere along.
I hope this video has given you some ideas about where to find music along the Camino, the types of music experiences from the very formal symphony concerts or operas where the listening activity is active, or the casual, passing listening experiences in bars and town plazas. Choose what you're in the mood for or what's available and go explore. The world and the music await. I would like to leave you with one final suggestion, and this one comes with a musical performance right here on this channel in this video. My dear friend Sarah Long Hendershot, a musician, a vocalist, a songwriter, recording artist, author, video producer, the list goes on and on. One incredible and very talented woman. Sarah is joining us in this video from Galicia, where she and her husband live. We have recorded a lovely music video for you that combines the 4 French horns with Sarah's lovely voice. So, welcome, Sarah.
Saludos from rainy Galicia.
Yeah, well, that's why it's green.
That's right.
Well, thank you so much for joining us on this video. We have some special music coming on at the end, which we'll talk about in a few minutes. But I'd like to start off by introducing you to our guests, our viewers. Would you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure, Gigi. I'm a singer and a writer. I studied jazz performance at Berklee College of Music and worked for many, many years as a recording artist. I was with RCA Records and was an opening act for a lot of country acts. Have always written music, played music, really since I was in my first band at age 16. I also write. I have written a couple of novels and essays and short stories, and so a little dabble in all kinds of arts.
So you're in Spain right now, and you've been living there for how long?
My husband Jones and I have lived in Galicia in northwestern Spain for 3 years now.
Wow. What took you to Galicia?
We were looking for a change and some excitement and a beautiful place to be. And my brother and his wife also moved over here. And we were talking about moving overseas, and we looked at a map of Spain, and I saw all the beautiful rich green in the northwestern corner of Spain. And that's the kind of climate that I prefer. I'm a real nature girl, outdoor type person. I love to walk. I love to explore outside. And so we came over, and my husband and I, we drove the coast from the north of Portugal all the way along the coast to France. And we just fell in love with Galicia. We absolutely loved it. We came back again. We spent some time exploring all across Galicia, and it just seemed to align really well with the lifestyle that we like and the values that we have, and we weren't wrong.
I'd like to interject a really fun story, but it tells a little bit about you. I don't know if you remember it, but we first met. It's been about 4 or 5 years ago, and we were at a friend's restaurant celebrating a birthday of a good friend of ours, Andrea, and I was visiting with you. And then the next day, I was visiting with some of my other friends, and they started talking about Jane, and I was like, Jane who? And well, the woman you were visiting with last night. I go, I don't think I was visiting with anyone named Jane. The woman that was sitting next to you. You mean Sarah? Yeah. I'm like, wait a minute. Is her name Sarah? Is her name Jane? So let me tell the listeners, you are Jane in Spain. How does that come about? Tell us about your YouTube channel.
I am Jane of Jane in Spain. And for many, many years, when we lived in New York, I had my own rock band. We did rock, blues, Americana, and the name of the band was the Jane Mutiny, which is a play on, the Cane Mutiny.
Okay.
A lot of people have known me in my creative life as Jane. My husband and I really love the culture here. And what we figured out after we were here for a relatively short time, this culture is very deep and complex, and it's not easily known. You can't come here for a vacation for a week and understand Galician culture. So we decided to launch a YouTube channel that dives a little bit deeper into Galician culture. And my husband was the one who came up with Jane in Spain. Half the people call me Jane, and the other half of people call me Sarah. So either one works.
That's wonderful. Well, let me direct this back to the purpose of this video, which is music in Spain, and particularly on the Camino. And you and your husband are launching a musicians retreat in Galicia. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, we kind of decided that the kind of life that gives us meaning and purpose is a life of art and a life of creating, but also a life of empowering other people to create. The thing that we're good at is creating an environment where that can happen. And because of this issue with the richness and the depth of Galician culture that is not easy to quickly comprehend. So we decided, since we know a lot of artists, my husband is an internationally known fine arts photographer, and we thought, you know what, if we bring some of the people that we normally fill our lives with, people who are musical, creative in any number of ways, we can bring those people here in a very intentional way to show them and immerse them in Galician culture, then the magic of this culture, which is incredibly inspirational, can be the catalyst for the creation of art. And so our idea was to buy a traditional Galician home, invite artists here to come and interact with Galician artists. Not only Galician artists, we want to introduce people to the food and the traditions and the rituals and the fiestas and all of the different things that makes this culture so rich.
Wow. And so what is the time frame? When is this going to maybe, possibly in the future here happen?
Well, there are two sides to our project. There is what I just said, which is the main part, which will be bringing musicians, writers, photographers, different types of artists here to interact with Galician artists. We also are going to be taking some Galician musicians to perform in North America. So right now we're in negotiations with a couple of the major jazz festivals in the US to bring Galician artists to perform in North America. We have our house. Well, we've chosen our house. We're in the process of buying it now. We're hoping that the sale will be done by the end of this month. We have some reforms that have to be done, but I'm thinking by next spring we should be ready to begin.
Wow. And I will include all that information in this video so that the viewers can get in touch with you, not only about Jane in Spain and your YouTube channel, but about this upcoming project, which is very exciting, very dear to my heart, being a musician. I think this is
right.
Wonderful.
Right.
We have a very special musical treat coming up in just a few seconds here. And thanks to internet and digital capabilities, we have actually put together a performance. My husband on French horn, myself on French horn. Actually, we're going to do 4 horns. And with Sarah in Spain, she has done the vocals. And this is a lovely tune. And at her suggestion, I was not familiar with the tune, but boy, I have really come to love it, really enjoy it. And wow, you do an amazing job on it. Do you want to tell us a little bit about the song?
Oh, thanks, Gigi. I was going to say the same thing about you and your husband. You did a beautiful job on your parts. And Gigi, you arranged it too. That was a lot of work. So thanks for doing that.
So what is the history of this song, Girona?
Girona. I don't know all the fine details of this song, but it is from a Mexican folktale that has to do with a woman who has lost her children who have drowned in a river. And the story goes that the woman haunts this river and people can hear her crying. So it's not a happy song, but, there are elements of some Mexican and Hispanic cultures that really embrace the idea of sorrow and death. And I think that this is one of those examples of a song that's very, very beautiful, that touches on longing and aching and grief. It's really a beautiful song. llorona, llorona de azul celeste. Ay de mí, llorona, llorona, llorona de azul celeste. Anche la Virgen cueste, llorona, no dejaré de quererte. Anche la Virgen cueste, llorona, no dejaré de quererte. No sé qué tienen las flores, llorona, las flores del campo santo. No sé qué tienen las flores, llorona, las flores del campo santo.